Holy smokes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fulton Street Beats. This is the episode that you guys have really been waiting for. But before we get started, hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Man, give this a thumbs up because you're going to want to see exactly what's going on here at Fulton Street Beats and some of the cool custom Chinese guitars that we have gotten in here. I believe that the guitar I'm going to show you today is by far one of the best, we will say, signature style tribute guitar that you may have ever seen. Personally, it's the best that I've ever seen. And this really flips the coin over and puts everything in a new light as to what Chinese builders can do as opposed to, well, American companies and even other high-end Chinese builders such as Epiphone. So we're going to give you a quick little overview before we go in. We have the Hue Yangshu Dawn SG. That was the first guitar that I brought to you. And very cool guitar. And it scored a 4.1 in the competition. And it's a nice guitar. It sounds good. And it's right around $300. Now, the unfortunate thing is this builder right here is really hard to get a hold of if you can at all. So that's the problem. That's what knocked their score down a little bit, was the communication. Communication's not good. And honestly, I can't even tell you how to get a hold of them right now. If something arises and I am able to tell you later on in the future about this guitar, then I will. But right now the point is mute. And we will probably throw another guitar in here just to make do into the competition before we're done, just because I'm not really able to present this guitar to you in a proper fashion at the end. And sometimes that happens here on the channel. So please bear with me. All logos will be revealed in the finale, and they are not going to be what you think. That's right. They're not going to be what you think. So these guitars are probably not going to qualify in many of your minds as a Chibson, but in many they may. I think you'll get the gist, the Chibson gist. But they might not be the Chibson that you expect. None of these guitars are illegal for any private citizen to own. So keep that in mind. And they were all purchased 100% legally and went through the necessary steps to get them. And as a matter of fact, even a few of the guitars that are on this channel actually came from links from YouTube itself. That's right. So keep that in mind. So cool guitars, but let's get into this. Yangshu Dawn, beautiful guitar, 4.1 on the scale. If I can bring more information on this guitar later on, I will. I apologize. Sometimes things happen, but they're in the running in the competition, but it is what it is. You might not be able to get one. So I'm going to set this one right over here to the side. And then we have a guitar, in this case, right here. And this is a pretty cool guitar. I'm trying to figure out how I want to show these guitars to you. A lot of you people might already know what this guitar is. I'm going to set this to the side real quick. And let's get into a couple of these guitars. Let's go over a few. This mystery guitar right here. Let's start with this really, really quick. And I'm going to be all over the place today, guys, because I'm trying to prove some points. And I hope you'll stick around for this journey. Stay right there and I'll be right back. Blink of an eye for you and 10, 20 minutes for me. Okay, guys, you can see here we have a pretty cool case. Let's look at this guitar real quick. And check it out. What do you think this is, guys? What do you think this is? Let's check this guitar out real quick here. And that's right, we got another Greeny. Look at this. A Greeny, right? Pretty good looking guitar. If you guys are familiar, we just unboxed the Epiphone Greeny that is in this competition. That's right, we put an Epiphone Greeny in this competition. But how is this guitar going to hold up against the rest of the competition? Let's get this out here and let's check this out. Overall, a pretty good looking guitar, I would say. The action on this guitar is set up really, really nice. We got nice finished headstock and flame maple. Little movement to it, not a very deep look to it, but it does move and it is very pretty. It's got the right knobs on it with the pointers, and it's it's a pretty good looking guitar. We have that two-piece body, as you can see, and very nice, right? Very cool guitar. And I'm going to show you another one here real quick before we dive into this real quick. And let's show you another one. Let's move this to the side. And we're going to do a little bit of a comparison, and we're going to break down one of these guitars here. Stay right there. Hold on here. For you guys who know guitars, you're going to know these right away. But let's take a peek here and see what we got in here. And let's check this guitar out. Now right away you can see that this goes poof right at you. So is there a big difference between the two guitars? Quality initially, first, right off the bat? Well, you guys tell me. A lot of you connoisseurs out there will immediately go, well, yeah, one is definitely better than the other. So let's take a look at what most of you are going to say is the better guitar. So let's do that. Let's accommodate the naysayers and take a look at their guitar that they would definitely choose. So let's pull this thing out. Beautiful guitar, definitely, right? There's no denying it. We can't ever deny a nice guitar, even if it's a status quo guitar. So let's set this here. I'm gonna turn it around here. So what we have here is a beautiful flame maple top. We have green. That the light, it's a lot of it's too shiny for the camera, I know, but the green runs both directions. We have an exquisite binding on this guitar, and I know you guys are like, well, of course it's a $1,600 guitar. It should be nice. Definitely is a gorgeous, gorgeous guitar. We can't deny it. We have, the proper setup. We have the right color fretboard. We have the proper good frets with amazing fret job, proper knobs, you name it, book matched properly down the center. It's a good looking guitar, no doubt about it. $1,600 worth of good. We've went over this before. Do you believe it's a $1,600 guitar? Well, no, I don't believe it's a $1,600 guitar, and I really can't ever say that it is a $1,600 guitar because this is not a $1,600 guitar. This is a $600 guitar, and this is Cathy's Custom Shop guitar right here. That's right. Yeah, I pulled one over on you, didn't I, guys? Look at this guitar. This thing is an absolute astonishing guitar. We're going to dive into this guitar deep because I have not. But there's a lot of things about this guitar that are nailed. I asked her to build me a guitar that would be like the Greeny when it was new. Not a beat down, worn down finish. Not a buffed out gloss finish, but an actual beautiful gloss finish with an exquisite binding, with the proper strap buttons, mahogany, with a 1959 neck. But heck, please put some jumbo frets on it for me. And she has done that, and they are beautiful, and they are just like butter. We have a real bone nut. The guitar is set up amazingly, and I'm gonna double check this for you guys right now while we're right here, but I think I remember what it was. I think it was 0.090 or 0.090. Yes, 0.090 at the 12th and 0.060 at the 12th on the high E. So almost an identical setup to the Epiphone Greeny, which is, well, $1,600 out the door. Now, there's some differences on this guitar you're going to notice. For one, I had her use the proper dark rosewood that would be on an actual Gibson Greeny. I wanted a dark rosewood. I didn't think that the light rosewood suited the guitar well, and it wasn't proper for the original. So we went with a dark rosewood, and it actually is a nice, beautiful rosewood. We also went with acrylic inlays. I could have done MOP like they did on the Epiphone. However, the original didn't have MOP. So we went with acrylic, trying to stay true to form, but keep it cool. We have the pointers, and I had the pointers put on in the direction that I wanted to, and you see she did a great job with the knobs and the pointers. I like them down where I can see them, not up where I can't. So they are there. The guitar is intonated properly. I've already checked all that stuff out. It sounds like $1,000,000. I'm going to give you some values on these pickups. And if you look at this headstock, that's right. This one actually says Les Paul on it. Because why? Because, well, I wanted it to say Les Paul. Because in my eyes, a Les Paul should say Les Paul. Now, what's on the headstock is going to be a shocker for you guys at the end of this series. It's going to blow your mind. And we'll see that neck profile, 1959. It's got the proper rake to the headstock, and we do have the open book headstock on this guitar. Very, very cool guitar. The poker chip is not labeled. There's no lettering on the poker chip itself. It has a very positive switch. And now we're going to flip the guitar over, and we're going to see some magic. You ready for this? Look at this. That's right, there's no question what's in it for electronics. We have some CTS pots, 500K CTS pots in here with wiring that is much more, looks a lot better, a lot cleaner than the Epiphone looked. But we do have some small green pills in here, which is not a big deal because that's what I wanted in this guitar, because I wanted to put my own caps in it. I wanted to get some vintage Sprague orange drops, and I have those. So these are going to go in that guitar. So these green caps that are in it are because I wanted them in it. And you can see the routing in this guitar is absolutely astonishing and done very, very well. Much cleaner inside than the Epiphone, but look at the body, right? Beautiful neck. On the back, we have Grover tuners. Are they real? Well, they act like they're real. And the price of the guitar, I'm going to assume they're real, but we have something else on the back that you guys can't see. That's right. It says Kirk Hammett for the signature on the back. Unlike Epiphone, that gave you nothing to indicate that it was a Kirk Hammett model. And keep in mind, we're talking a Kirk Hammett model because it's an Epiphone. So Kirk Hammett model. Now we have Kirk Hammett. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not. Kirk Hammett, I'll give you some pictures. Signature. And it still is IGC on the back. That's because it's inspired by Gibson. That's right. Gibson inspired my build. And I wanted to show them that they inspired my build. So very, very cool. We're going to dig into this guitar even more. What do you guys think? Did I pull the wool over your eyes a little bit? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful guitar. I mean, first-rate guitar. We're talking a $1,500 guitar over here versus the best. This is the best that they could build for me. And it's $600. That is shipped. That is custom with jumbo frets. It does have the pickup that is out of phase and values that I requested. That's right, because I request a little bit different value because what I want to play with this guitar is more on the heavy side. So, amazing sounding pickups. Does it sound better than the actual Epiphone Greeny? Well, you guys are going to have to decide that in the end, but I have already formed my opinion. And the answer for me is definitely yes. Definitely yes. The electronics work very, very well in this. All three guitars, they actually do, but this one really shines. And if you look close at this, you'll notice that the pickup rings are the proper color. That's right, they're the proper color cream pickup rings. They're not those pickup rings that you get that everybody complains about and says they never get the color right. These ones are identical to what's on the Epiphone. That's right. It's got a little more stout of a bridge. It is the slots in the pins here, and but they're the small slots like the actual Epiphone. I sent her pictures of what I wanted, and she did it. But what about the weight? Well, this guitar comes in at about 9 pounds, the same as the actual Epiphone. So they're right on par with each other. They're an amazing guitar. And look at the knobs, guys. I mean, just look at did they nail it? She nailed it, right? They call her the best builder in China, and it's not for no reason, apparently. Even where the bridge mounts in the wheels, everything is really quality on this thing, and I can't. How about that clear cavity cover, right? Isn't that amazing? Amazing. The binding on this guitar is exquisite. There's not a flaw in the binding, and camera won't pick it up because it's so glossy the way the fluorescents are on this right now, but we have the serrations of the grain running each way. It's nice and deep. It does have tons and tons of movement. Tons of movement. Now, the other one looks like it has lots of movement. It's got a bigger grain on the Epiphone, a lot bigger. This is a lot tighter of a grain with more dramatic characteristics when you glance deep into it. You have to see it in real life. A much better grain. Beautiful gloss finish that is buffed to a high shine. I have not tested the finish to see if it is nitro or not. It would not surprise me in the least, but I will tell you, it doesn't make a difference because it's done exquisitely. I did have her do the 3-hole truss rod cover, and it's done right, and it's centered right, unlike the Epiphone. The Epiphone version is not even centered right. That's right. There's a few flaws on it, and this is honestly a better built guitar that plays better, and a lot of that is because of it just doesn't have as much of a curve to the radius of the fretboard. So this plays a little, in my hands anyhow, a little better. Now keep in mind this is done to my specs, so your mileage may vary. If you order a guitar, keep in mind it is going to change according to your price point. The more you pay, the more guitar you're going to get. It's that simple. That's just how it is in real life. So if you're going into this thinking you're going to pay $300-400 and you're going to get this guitar, you're not. Okay, you're going to be up there. To get a build like this, you're going to be up there. But we have a real bone nut. Like I said, amazing. So let's dive into this guitar a little more. Let's take these strings loose and see exactly what's inside of it, how it's made. Now, I watched the whole process of this guitar being built. I was sent pictures through the whole thing. She was very, very good at that. Now, this is a personal build for me, so I want you to keep that in mind. This is my personal guitar, my brainchild, and done beyond my expectations. And I had high expectations, and she went well beyond my expectations for this guitar. And you simply have to play it to understand it. The setup, whoever's doing her setup work on these guitars, deserves a medal because they're set up amazing. Even the strings are good on this guitar. Intonation is spot on. It's crazy. Now, the Epiphone's a fantastic guitar, don't get me wrong, but it's $1,600. This is a better guitar. I'm just going to say it right now. It's a better guitar for a lot less money. No, it's not a name brand, but if you're a player, this is the guitar that you are going to want. There's no way around it. You cannot see this guitar and deny the quality that's in this guitar. You can't do it. So for all the naysayers, trust me, it's not going to work on this guitar. This guitar is phenomenal. Stay right there. Let's check this thing out real quick. I'll be right back. So in the end, we're going to put these things right side by side. You're going to see a test of all these guitars right next to each other. And if you want to go back and check out the Epiphone unboxing video, I'll put a link to that here. If you want to check out the Hue Yangshu Dawn unboxing video and review where that scored, I'm going to put that here. And by the way, if you're wondering, this is a possible five-star system that we're scoring these on. And the Hue guitar did remarkably well at 4.1. The Epiphone did extremely well, 4.5. And then we have this one that we have not scored yet, but I'm sure it'll score quite high. I think it's going to give the Epiphone a run for its money. And then we have a couple wild card scores to throw in there at the end, such as feel in the hands and setup. That is going to really might sway a little bit of these guitars in the final outcome. So I just want to be totally transparent with you there. So let's check this thing out. Let's grab this, loosen up these strings a little bit. Okay, here we go. We're going to flip this over, and what we're going to notice right now is this is labeled Epiphone on the bottom here. We're here, we'll clean it off. Let's take this bridge off and give this a quick see. And we have an unmarked heavy bridge. Wow, that's a heavy bridge. That is not light. That is actually quite heavy. And then here is our, wow, really nice studs right there. So that's what we're looking at, guys, and it's just as beautiful underneath these parts as it is anywhere else. Let's sit this back on here so we do not lose that beautiful setup. And by the way, this tailpiece here, I'm sorry, I might have misspoke and called it a bridge. Tailpiece is an Epiphone labeled tailpiece, and it's pretty much decked all the way down as was the Epiphone. So let's get in here. Let's pull out these pickups and see what they are. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, this... Oh, guys. I don't know if you can see this or not. So these... I don't know what these pickups are, but they're very heavy. Not really labeled, but they're very, very heavy. We're going to put that right here. And I can't really move this around a lot. Let me get my little brush in here. We got a little compound in there that so I want to take some time just to scrub this a little bit here. Loosen that compound up. I want to know what I'm talking about here. If you guys think you see what you're seeing, you are absolutely correct. So let's get in here. So, okay. So here's our neck. We don't have the long neck tenon coming up in here. We do have a really nice routing, and if you're looking right here, guys, you're seeing a cap. That's right. So we have mahogany to maple, and then on the maple we have another maple cap that is probably, I don't know if you can see it. Let me mic it. Okay, so here we go again. I don't know if you guys can see this. Again, we have another pickup. These are labeled like a bridge. It says 10-4. So I got measurements for these pickups, and I'm curious if they. Okay, so this bridge pickup, I've measured this already, and we have this bridge pickup at 11.9. Make sure I got that right. Yeah, 11.95 at the bridge. 11.95. This says B10-4. I'm not sure what that means. Heavy pickups, by the way. Once again, definitely mahogany with a big, thick maple cap, and it looks like the cap itself. And I see what they did here. They capped it with maple, and then they put a thick veneer over that. So the veneer is actually very thick. I'm going to measure the veneer. What we have is 0.10 in inches, and then we have, that'd be 2.6 millimeters for a veneer that they put on this. But this actually has a maple cap under that. That's actual maple. You can see the difference. That is approximately, and this is approximation, guys, 18.3 millimeters, 18.3 millimeters, or 0.72 of an inch. So pretty thick. Very cool. Very cool. I see what they did there. So yes, it does have a veneer, just like the Epiphone, but much thicker with an actual maple cap on top of mahogany. That is pretty cool. I'm digging how it was built. The routing is amazing in this guitar. So I know you guys can't see it, but I'm not going to scratch up the guitar to pull it all over the place. So let's put this thing back together. Okay, so I know a lot of you guys are wondering why I'm not changing the strings. Well, they really don't need changing, to tell you the truth. Everything's set up right here. Okay, so we really don't need changing, to tell you the truth. And when I compare the sounds of these, we compare these how they come out of the box with no upgrades at all. So that is why we are not changing strings. But okay, so there we go. I know I am doing this kind of quickly, and I apologize. We're going to dive into these. That's because we're going to dive so much farther into these guitars before we're done in this competition. So I like to keep my workspace nice and clean here. I don't like anything scratching anything up. So we're going to score this guitar like we always do, based on what I have just seen, what I have already heard. Because yes, I have spent, when this came, I spent the hours with this guitar, couldn't put it down to play it and to see if it needed anything. And honestly, guys, it is just such an amazing guitar. It feels really good in the hands, and that's a really important note. So let me score this real quick. Now, I kind of want to cover up my other scores while I do this, because I don't want any bias. So what this averages out to, and we'll come across that in the end here. So what we have here first is we're going to talk about communication. Communication with Cathy is the best communication with a seller that I have ever had in my entire life. It's just simply amazing communication. The communication was 100% spot on. I got pictures of this entire build along the way. I'll throw some pictures here. Pictures of this entire build along the way from its inception. I'm not going to put them all because there's too many, but from its inception, from its inception to its, well, arriving at the door. So we're going to give her a 5-star on that. Definitely the best communication ever. Answered all questions. Keep in mind that there is a 12-hour time difference between China and here. So, and she's a very busy woman because she, well, takes a lot of orders for a lot of custom guitars. So if you want, it doesn't have to be this, guys. You can have your brainchild. If you think of a guitar design in your head, send it to her. She can do it. If anybody can do it, she can do it. And as a matter of fact, I'm trying to get her to build me kind of like the Hydra. Yeah, the Steve Vai Hydra. That may be one that might be coming to the channel. So I guess the cat's out of the bag on that one now. But let's see what she can do. That would be the ultimate test now, wouldn't it? So 5 stars on that. Shipping speed. Well, I got to drop it to a 4-star on that. And I debated on dropping it lower, but I'm going to stick with a 4-star. And here's why. This guitar came with another guitar. One was just a random purchase that I purchased to see what a stock guitar from Cathy would be, and we're going to get to that guitar in another episode. What if you buy a guitar from her that's in stock, ready to go? What's the quality like then at a price point of about $345? What is that guitar like? So I'll tell you right now, it was a relic Les Paul style guitar, and I'll show you that later on, what you get for about that price range. And a lot of you may very well be happy with that guitar. I am. And then we have the upper end of the spectrum, which is this guitar, which is going to run you guys right around $600. And it's a beautiful guitar. Now, you don't have to go this extreme. Trust me. You don't have to go. This is extreme. This is a custom build for me that has not been done like this, and you'll know why in the end. It just hasn't been done like this. We have a Greeny with a gloss, an actual gloss finish that's not relic, that would look like it did when it came out of the factory. If the G brand ever made it leave the factory. Now, you notice it has the Epiphone pins in it here, small ones, but pins, the slotted, and that's because I wanted that, because I wanted it to be, well, like the Epiphone. That's the one I wanted to base it off. Not the G brand. That's already been done. Let's base it off their other brand. Why'd I say that? Because the Epiphone one plays so good. I figured we'd get a good playing guitar if we based it off of that one. So that was my thought process anyhow. 4 stars on shipping speed. And this was a custom build, so it did take some time to build. I don't dock them for that. What happened, though, we had a mix-up in shipping, and the guitar ended up going to the wrong person. Luckily, that person was in one of our Facebook groups and forwarded the guitar to me, and had to actually take some money out of his pocket to do that. Now, Cathy covered that because that's just what kind of person she is. She covered that and refunded that guy the money to forward the guitar to me. But we got lucky. It could have been a disaster, but Cathy took care of it. So honestly, that 4-star, I could have went 5-star and said, well, we had a problem and she took care of it. She jumped through hoops and took care of it and made sure I got the guitar. But in the end, I ended up taking one off just because that logistic glitch did happen. Shipping speed still was decent. Once it hit here in the United States, which was literally very fast, it took about 14 days for me to get it, and that's counting the glitch after it was built. So still pretty good. So we're going to give her a 4 on that one, okay? I'm just trying to do the best I can and be honest. General appearance, of course, we got a 5. Generally, you look at the guitar, you take it out, and you look at it, it's definitely a 5-star guitar in general appearance. Definitely hardware. Perfect hardware, perfect setup, nice heavy bridge as we just saw. Epiphone tailpiece as we just saw. The pickups you're going to have to wait to hear. Trust me, they're amazing, and the values are amazing. I'm going to go over those values right now while we're right here. We got 11.95 at the bridge, and I wanted a hotter pickup at the neck. Why do you ask? Why do I want to do that? Because when I'm in my low position, I want a little more grunt when I'm doing my James Hetfield chugs. And I find that works out a lot. So I wanted just a touch hotter at the neck. She did that for me. She actually did it. It was done, and that was a 13.64 at the neck, and it's not muddy, it's chuggy, and it sounds good. Now, when you blend these two pickups, especially with them being out of phase, it is just a godsend. It's a beautiful sound, and we have 6.37 in the middle. So very cool setup, done the way I wanted it. You guys can specify what you would like done, but that's what I wanted done. So hardware, fantastic. Tuners are great. Pickups are great. The switch is great, solid. The knobs the knobs look like authentic G brand knobs to me. They really, really do. And we got the nice pointers on them. There's no expense spared. We've got a great nut, great tuners. There's no problem. And we have, ready for this, the number one, we have the good strap buttons. And all the hardware on this is nickel, guys, in case you're wondering. The good flat style strap washers that I always deduct points for if they don't come with it. I had to deduct a point from the Epiphone for that one. This has it. So hardware, great. Fit and finish of the guitar. The fit and finish of the guitar is perfect. It's perfect. And as you can see, there's no hiding anything in here. All the screws are drilled right, and we can go into the switch right here if you want to. You'll notice that I've already been in this, but if you notice, remember the other one, the screw holes were were right in the edge, coming right through the edge on the Epiphone. And this one, it is not. So we have really nice routing on this, and the setup is super nice. And there we go. And we don't have any no multiple holes and no screw holes that are too close to the edge coming through, which is very, very good. Now, also, I have these in case I wanted to put it on. We have clear covers and plastic still on it, but we could put clear ones on this one if we want to also. She was nice enough to send that to me, as well as an extra cover if I wanted to go all black. So this seeing inside of this was my idea. Another thing that she listened to me on, she didn't understand it, why I'd want to do that. And I said, well, I want to show you guys what's inside without pulling it apart. What's your work like without pulling it apart? And of course, seeing wires is never pretty. Some of it is, some of it can be a work of art, but it shows quick at a glance what the routing is like and what the wiring is like, and is it tidy? And it is tidy. That's what's nice about it. It's tidy wiring. It's not exquisitely tidy, but it's tidy, and there's no hiding it. And we have CTS pots in it, and there we can see, when we look down, we can see that nice thick maple cap, big thick maple cap that they had to route out for to put these pots in. So very, very cool. I believe it's very cool. So let's get back on track here. Block off my others because I don't want to fit and finish 5.5. Fit and finish the guitar, definitely a 5. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no holes that are off. Everything's in proper placement. The alignment for the knobs is in proper placement, identical to the actual Epiphone. The body shape is identical. There is nothing. The rake to the headstock, it's identical. There's a difference in the fretboard, and that's because I wanted a little flatter of a fretboard for more of it just fits me better. And she did that versus that more of a roundover. So that was done. Price versus value. Well, this is a no-brainer, right? This is where the Epiphone fell way behind, and it ended up getting that 4.5 score out of 5, is because I say that the Epiphone was worth $1,000. Not because of the name. I think it's worth $1,000 because of the way it's built and what you have. We have the Gibson pickups, actual Gibson pickups in that are $300. And then we have that nice case that it comes in. Now, this doesn't come in a case, so I want you to keep that in mind. It's $600. It does not come in a case. That case I showed you, it does not come in. That was just kind of to trick you at the beginning and give you a visual production of this guitar that really shows it off a little bit. Doesn't come in a case. So if you wanted to add a case, a good case, and you could get an Epiphone case if you wanted to, I'm going to run you right around a couple $100, maybe $150, $170, $200. So you're at $800. Now, that being said, that Epiphone is $1,600 out the door. This is $600 out the door. This is a better build. It sounds better, in my opinion. Sound is subjective, but it plays better for me, in my opinion. But the build quality itself is not subjective. This is a better build quality, period. So keep that in mind. It's a better build quality, regardless of the name that's on the headstock. Now, if you're into this for resale value, totally understand, not the guitar for you. But if you're into it for a guitar that's extremely built well that you're going to keep, this is definitely a better route to go that is much less expensive, and you can do what you want to. So we're at 6, we'd still be at 900 if you want to put the Gibson pickups in it, and you still have a better built guitar than the Epiphone. Not that the Epiphone's bad, it's a fantastic guitar. I'm not knocking it whatsoever. It's just overpriced. It's overpriced. Where this guitar is honestly underpriced for what you're getting. See how that worked? They kind of balance out a little bit. So price versus value, definitely you just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. It's an amazing guitar for the money, for any money. Tone of this guitar. So we got a 5-star on price versus value, 5-star on the tone. You wait till you hear this thing. It's gonna blow your freaking mind. Some of you might have already heard it. Some friends out there. So then we got our wild card in here that we're going to add later on, and that's feeling the hands. But I'm going to give you a heads up on this one right now. Feeling the hands is a 5, well, because it was built for me, and they pretty much did the specs I wanted, so I knew it was going to be. But and setup on the guitar, whoever's setting up Cathy's guitars, whoever's setting up these guitars knows what the hell they're doing. There's nothing that I would change about the setup of this guitar. It's so odd, right? But the Epiphone was like that too. The Epiphone had an amazing setup also. So they're right on par with each other as far as setup goes, for sure. But the feel in the hands of the Epiphone is really a 4, not a 5. This one's a 5. And the SG, the Hugh Yangshu Dawn SG, that was a 5 for feeling the hands. So, that's kind of crazy. So once again, real quick, 11.95 bridge, 6.37 in the middle, and the neck is 13.64. Yes, a little hotter on the neck because that's the way Fulton Street Beats likes it. All right, let's get over with final thoughts. I hope you like this guitar, guys. Check this out. You're going to want to see under this. So stay tuned for that. It's going to blow your mind. I'm telling you right now, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to want to see the next guitar we put in this shootout. Will it beat the first 3 guitars? Is it better than this? Can it possibly be? I don't know, but you're going to want to see it. Okay, guys, no matter what your cup of tea is, I don't think we can deny that both of these guitars are really great. We have the Epiphone, that is the Greeny, that is an official Epiphone that they put out, and they did a damn good job. We can't dispute that whatsoever. I think it's very overpriced. And of course, it could have been a little better, right? But it is an Epiphone. It's not a Gibson, it is an Epiphone. Now, that being said, I find this guitar a lot better than most Gibsons these days. It's a nice guitar, and I don't want to knock it, and I'm not going to knock it, simply because it is such a nice guitar. However, when you have a guitar that is simply over the top, and this guitar is over the top, is what it is. And a lot of that probably might not be very fair because I did get to pick and choose what I wanted done to this guitar. But that's kind of the beauty of it. It's a $600 guitar that's built the way I want to exceed a $1,600 guitar. And I think that that's what we're all looking for as novice players, even pro players, whatever you want, something, the most you can get for your money. If you're not looking for that name on the headstock, that's why these are both taped off right now. If you're not looking for that name on the headstock, the brass tacks is what's better is better. And this is a better guitar. Now, you might like the flame on this one. You might say, hey, that's a really cool flame on this one. But, it's really not true to the original. This one has definitely got more to it. If you see this guitar in real life and you see the serrations going in each direction and the depth of this flame, you'd quickly change your mind, I have a feeling. Camera doesn't do this guitar justice. This one's got more of almost an imaginary top on it. It does move, but it almost doesn't look real. It almost looks like a photo finish, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying that's what it is at all, because it's obviously not. But it has that characteristic that makes it a little, well, in my eyes, fake looking. But it's still beautiful, where this one, what it is when you look at it. And jumbo frets, we can't deny the frets are just different. We have a medium jumbo and we have jumbo on this side. We have the dark fingerboard, the dark rosewood. That's why we've got a real dark rosewood on this. And that's like the original Greeny. Why they put a light rosewood on this guitar, I have no idea. But they did use very nice mother of pearl. This one's actually mother of pearl inlays, although the original Greeny and the G brand, it was acrylic. So I went with acrylic on this one. I mean, I'm not going to have a huge upcharge for mother of pearl when the acrylic is just fine. Binding work on each guitar, well, there's a few. The binding work is nice on the Epiphone. At first I thought it was really exquisite. It is nice, but when you start really diving into it and looking at it and you start looking at the two, well, the Cathy's custom guitar has it all day long. Fit and finish of Cathy's guitar is better than the Epiphone. The setup on these guitars is almost identical. So we can't knock either one of them for that. They're very, very good setup. Tuners on the guitars, they both are fantastic tuners. They both work and they feel the exact same. They do have different tuning. The buttons on the end are different. This one's the rounded style, where this is like the key style. But other than that, very, very similar feeling. They do both hold tune very, very well. And the gloss finish on this guitar is impeccable. It doesn't really slow you down on the neck. This is a nice fast neck, but you have that knockdown matte finish, but this one really doesn't slow you down. And I like the profile of this guitar better simply because it has the flatter fretboard. If you're seeing any weird colors, it's because there's a black light in here. But both of them are outstanding, but this is definitely more value for the money and a better built guitar. And we got to talk about the elephant in the room. Being a Kirk Hammett signature guitar, Epiphone signature guitar is what this is. But yeah, no Kirk Hammett labeling anywheres. Not on the case, nowheres. The only inclination, the only thing we can find on this inclination is the wrong word. The only thing we can find on this guitar that really shows that it's a Kirk Hammett signature guitar is if you pull a pickle up, it has a little barcode underneath that says Kirk Hammett. Where this one we had made, and well, it's a true tribute to Kirk Hammett, and it does say Kirk Hammett, although you probably can't pick it up in that light. This light does say Kirk Hammett stamped where serial number would be. So we didn't use any fraudulent serial numbers. We just put something in there that makes me know what it was kind of made after. Another cool feature is she does what you want. You get a clear cavity cover if you like, which is also awesome. And another big thing for me was having a Les Paul logo on the guitar, because it's a Les Paul style guitar, and I think any Les Paul deserves that shaped guitar, deserves to have that name on it, since he was the inventor of that style. So that's just me. We did do the 3-screw truss rod cover, and this one's a little bit off center where the Cathy guitar is dead on. And when you pull the screw, when you take the truss rod covers off themselves, I should have showed you this. You can actually really see how off the screw hole is compared to this one. Now, and another interesting note underneath this cover, there's actually some meat right there where you could actually use the G brand truss rod cover if you wanted, because there's actually quite a bit of meat there to screw into, where this one there is nothing. You'd be screwing into the cavity itself. You have nothing to bite onto. The hardware on each of these are both in nickel. I don't know if you can tell by the pictures, but they're both in nickel. But I really do like this gloss finish, like the Greeny would be new. And the knobs on these are virtually identical. As a matter of fact, the knobs on the Cathy's custom guitar seem to be actually a touch better than are on the Epiphone guitar. But it's still both outstanding guitars. You guys can tell me which ones you like in the description below. But when you hear these things, it's really probably gonna make you take notice. So make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe, come on back. We're not done yet. We got another guitar that we'll throw in the mix for this competition. And this guitar has definitely pulled way away from everybody else. And she actually has another guitar in the stake. So we'll see how that off-the-shelf guitar compares to these. I don't expect it's going to beat this Epiphone. I'll just be upfront and honest with you. But I don't know yet. I haven't judged it yet. Sometimes things get weird when you start judging. But this is a hard one to beat. What knocks this Epiphone down really is the price. If it had a better value factor, it'd be closer to this, but this would still be ahead because it's a better build. So keep that in mind. All right, guys, remember, it's rock and roll what makes the world. Do that twirly thing. Hit that like button, share, subscribe on the way out, and you guys all rock. Peace.